Southern Music Research Center presents
Premier bonheur du jour, du jour, du jour.
DuJour.
This is Southern Music Research Center, and you're listening to Eric Wallace. Well, I started taking piano lessons like a lot of kids that grow up in the suburbs when I was probably 10 years old or so, and I totally hated everything about it. And I just wanted to play guitar, and luckily for me. It was never really a question of how to make that happen. My dad bought me a guitar when I was 13, and I would just listen to all the records that I loved and try to figure out how to play them. The first album that I ever had on a CD was Ride the Lightning, and when I learned to play the guitar solo from the song Fade to Black, I was like, oh my God, I can do it. I've arrived, I'm here. Before I could drive and before I kind of became my own person, it was really all about just loud. I just wanted to hear loud, fast music. And that kind of continued to inform my taste as the older that I got and the more I started creating my own music and my own sound, or what I thought to be my own sound, whatever, was just like loud guitars. So other albums and other bands that really informed me were bands like Refused and Sonic Youth, and the older I got, the more I kind of leaned back into some of those attitudes that I learned about from great punk musicians, and I kind of understood more about how things that my parents listened to, like my dad was always really into Neil Young, how even though a lot of Neil Young's music sounded different, how that attitude was the same, and it was really that was informing me and informing the way that I play and the way that I like music. So I was able to really just take those things and apply them to a lot of different kinds of records. I never really saw myself as a teacher, but I think I just sort of grew into that role, and for that reason, a lot of times I don't think of my students as students, especially because of how much I end up learning from them. So, they're all different, and it's just really cool to think that I'm interacting with like 50 future and current musicians that are going to do really, really cool things for their entire lives on a weekly basis. So we have some programs. Shahid and Supreme do their knowledge rhythm understanding program once a week, and have a lot of students involved with that, and they take a really similar approach that's based on really finding those sounds totally accessible, and I think that's really cool and fits in with the sort of philosophy that I think is important. We are teaching kids hip hop. I'm not personally, but we're teaching kids hip hop every day at the firehouse, and I listen to a lot of hip hop, but it's. I mean, I listen to some of the old school stuff. Shahid is always showing me what he's listening to, and it's always old school, and I think it's really interesting. I think the way that that early drum machines worked is really fascinating. I think I really think that's cool, and it's totally outside of my world. So I don't spend all my time listening to hip hop, but when I do, it's like a totally different experience for me, and one that it's just like really interesting for my ears.